when Nigerian women rose against the British Empire. The Aba Women's War of 1929 Part 2. They marched with songs. They protested with unity. They demanded justice, not violence. But the empire answered with guns. This is Part 2 of the Aba Women's War. The day the empire fired. As protests spread across southeastern Nigeria, British colonial officers grew afraid of losing control. In several towns, armed police and soldiers were deployed. The women did not come with weapons. They came in thousands, singing, chanting, demanding change. Then shots were fired. By the end of the crackdown, dozens of women were killed, and many more were injured. Their names were not recorded carefully. Their faces were not preserved in photographs. But their sacrifice shook the foundations of colonial rule. Grief turns into determination. Instead of ending the movement, the violence strengthened it. News of the killings spread quickly. Women mourned, but they did not retreat. Markets shut down. Colonial courts were disrupted. Warrant chiefs were openly rejected. The British realized something crucial. They had misjudged the power of Nigerian women. United Kingdom and Empire forced to listen. The uprising had consequences. Colonial officials launched investigations. Several warrant chiefs were removed from power. Plans to tax women were abandoned. Even more importantly, the British were forced to rethink their system of indirect rule. Women were gradually included in local governance structures, something unthinkable before 1929. This was not freedom, but it was change, and it was won through resistance. The Aba Women's War was not led by one famous name. It was led by thousands of ordinary women. Traders, farmers, mothers, daughters, women like Nwanyirua, whose confrontation with a census officer helped spark the uprising. Their power came from unity, not from titles. History often looks for one hero, but this story reminds us. Sometimes, the hero is the crowd. For years, colonial records called this event the Aba Riots. But that word is misleading. This was not chaos. This was not lawlessness. It was organized. It was strategic. It was political resistance. Today, historians recognize it for what it truly was: a women-led anti-colonial movement. The Aba Women's War became a foundation for later nationalist movements. Women's political activism in Nigeria, resistance against injustice. Decades later, Nigerian women would again rise in labor movements, civil rights struggles, and democracy fights. The courage of 1929 did not disappear. It was passed down. These women did not carry flags. They did not write manifestos. They carried courage. They proved that power does not always come from weapons. Resistance does not always wear uniforms, and history is not only made by kings and generals sometimes. History is made by women who refuse to be silent. If this story moved you, share it. If it taught you something new, subscribe. Because the past is not dead. It is still speaking.